Good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, Smart Money Alliance and IIMFL. It is Friday morning, October 2nd, 2020, just a minute before 8 o'clock Central. As most of you know, we get together most weekdays, Mondays through Fridays at this time on this Zoom exchange to be able to talk strategy, share success stories, problem solve, etc. And so this is a time for our distribution partners to get together. So regardless if you're an affiliate, financial literacy educator, a branch office manager, or a joint venture partner, this is a great time to keep abreast of what's working, what's not, and so forth. Typically Mondays through Fridays at 10 o'clock Central, we have a different webinar, and those are oriented towards prospective participants. In other words, small businesses that are looking for capital, that are considering the small business certification program. Often on Fridays, we don't have that because of trainings, and we won't have one today, but other weekdays we typically do. And then also remember that we offer, and we've been promoting here recently, free one-on-one mentoring sessions with each of you. So we can get together once a week, identify any questions, concerns, issues that you specifically have, and then set goals. So we're not here to micromanage, but what we know is we have a tremendous opportunity to help small businesses. And our programming, now that we've made some of these final tweaks and everything is set in stone, but with a very structured approach to the 4-week curriculum of increasing the financial literacy of the participants while concurrently building their loan package out, is working remarkably well, where we assign a financial literacy educator and that educator works with them closely. So every week they're having a touch-base call to make sure it's progressing well. So thank you for your patience. You know, it took a while to figure out exactly how to fine-tune everything, but it's working really, really well now. Satisfied clients, satisfied referral sources. We're attracting affinity partners, key influencers at a very steady rate. So you and I are at the right time at the right place. Now, also keep in mind that the layoffs continue. I think it was yesterday, October 1st, that several of the major airlines announced a cumulative furlough or layoff of, I believe, over 30,000 people. So I would keep in mind that this is a great time to build your affiliate network, to add sub-affiliates whereby they're paid and you're paid overrides, rather they're looking to replace their income, supplement their income, or just look for a side gig. However, with all that being set aside, our topic today is a very important one. How do you move cold leads to make them warm? Now, I'll flip over pages here. Very recently, we had a training on the top sources of free leads. And so you'll see this on the IIMFL website, on the career page. The second video down now is right here, top sources of free leads. So I'm not going to be redundant and waste your time on that. You might have attended the live training. If not, you can watch it here. But the topic today is, okay, now what? So I've identified 100 new startup businesses that just recently formed a LLC, C Corp, S Corp, assumed name, DBA. What do I do now? How do I move them from being a cold prospect to a warm prospect? One of the easiest ways to do that is to educate them. Now, we've made the education a message that is not laborious to you. So let me go back over to the other page. So here you'll see that on the landing pages, and again, we will provide you a free landing page. All you need to do is have one conversion. So through the affiliate model, have at least one conversion, and we'll happily develop a landing page for you. You might say, well, I don't have a conversion yet. Where am I going to submit leads? You're going to submit leads that are ready to move forward in the process on the small business certification page. Here at the bottom on the inquiry form, you put in their name, email, phone, and referred by you. Once you have one conversion, and frankly, you could be your own conversion if you wanted, but once you have your own conversion, we have the landing page. Getting back to the main point, if we want to move someone from a cold lead to a warm lead, what we found one of the best ways is to have them watch this, the 27 mistakes that will get you denied for funding. You'll also find that on our home page here at the bottom. So they can click on this and watch that YouTube. So there's a couple ways that you could provide this educational message to a prospect to move them from being cold to warm. You could direct them to the website and say, scroll down and you'll see a link to watch the 27 mistake video. You can tell them just to type in 27 mistakes, 27mistakes.org, and that'll take them directly to it, 27mistakes.org, and it essentially is just a direct feed in to this YouTube message. Or you could have a landing page, and now we're embedding the 27 mistake video on your landing page. Now, you don't have to do it this way, but it accomplishes a couple objectives. It keeps you from having to take the time to tell the story over and over and over. That'll wear you out. It also gives you the opportunity to market to the masses because this is readily available. This is a very well-received educational message that really helps small business owners understand what does it take to access capital. Now, they're also going to learn some other key concepts, aren't they? They're going to learn that there are different sources of capital for different circumstances. So there's not just one bucket of money out there. Half the battle is to figure out which bucket or which source of capital is right for you. So if you've not watched the 27 mistakes, I recommend that you do so. One of the most frequent criticisms we get is that our educational messages are longer than desired. And that maybe is a weakness. I come from the background of being a college professor. And so my training and acumen isn't how to somehow convey all that someone needs to know in 3 to 5 minutes. You can tease people all day long, but what I believe is that they want the full story. And so this 27 mistakes, it'll take them a few minutes to go through, but that's a good vetting process, right? If they won't even take enough time to listen to this message to learn what they need to know, whether they want to work with you and us or not, then they're probably not a good fit. They're probably not going to be compliant as they go through that 4-week process. Now, does someone have to watch this to be able to enroll? Of course not. It's not a prerequisite. They can go right to your landing page, or you can put their information in on the landing page, their name, their email, the phone, submit. That's going to come into us. What's going to happen then? We're going to go ahead and send them the DocuSign for participation. So it's the participation agreement for the small business certification. In most cases, you'll be copied on that, so you'll love that. So you'll know that it went out. We're going to also drop them into our drip marketing campaign, which includes educational messages spaced out every 3 days, if I recall correctly, for I think about 7 different messages. And then also that will prompt our internal staff to reach out to them to see if there's any remaining questions. You can imagine that we have a high conversion rate because we're creating so many touches. So the landing page is great for our affiliates who want to submit a lead and not have to worry about it thereafter, just get paid. However, the point today is not about the landing page. I just happen to be using it to show you one more location of the 27 mistake video. So again, how can you mistakes a cold lead warm? You can tell them, hey, go to 27mistakes.org, 27mistakes.org. There's an educational message there. I'd like you to watch it. I'm going to follow up with you at this time tomorrow to see if you have any questions. Sound good? So it's really that simple. Or again, you could direct them because it's linked here on the IIMFL homepage. And or once you have a landing page with us, which is free. With the landing page, I should mention that each lead that you have that comes through your landing page, of course, it's coded directly to you, so you don't have to worry about them listing you as the referral source. It's hard coded to you. But also it populates a list. We're creating a separate list for every referral partner that has a landing page. And so it's very easy to reconcile. So there's no chance of you not getting paid. On average, as an affiliate, you're making around $1,000 per conversion when we look at the front end and the back end. As a branch manager, you're making an average of $5,000. And as a joint venture partner, you're also making on average $5,000. If you're a financial literacy educator, you can wear any of those other three hats, but then you're also helping write the key person policy, which serves as a collateral assignment. So let me turn it back to you. What questions do any of you have about how to move a cold lead to a warm lead? Because on the career page here, you can go back and refer to, well, the onboarding is good, but on top of that, you can review the 4 top sources of free leads. What we're discussing now is our best practice of moving a cold lead to make them warm so we can get them into the funnel and convert them. So let's go ahead and open it up for questions that you all have. We have the Q&A box there in Zoom. It's kind of like a chat box. We have some great minds on the call today, on the Zoom, I should say. Anna Marie, Barry, Kwong, Galaxy, James, Joseph, Monique, Robert, Chandra, Travis, and many others. Can you go ahead and let me know what questions, comments, concerns you have about this strategy? Because we've already figured out how to get unlimited free leads. We've solved that problem. If you're not clear on that, again, go back to here. But that's resolved. Now, what do we do once we have the lead to move them forward? Now, you might say, well, what if I didn't worry about educating them? Couldn't I just drop them in? If I don't have a landing page, I could just drop a bunch of names and emails, preferably with phone number, but not required, referred by. Or if you have a landing page, you could just dump a ton of people in on your landing page. And that is correct. If you wanted to have even a higher conversion though, what you would do is you would also educate them. And this is probably the best education. Yes, Robert, I agree. It's finally simplified. There's a problem that we have, and the problem has 2 layers. Most small business owners want capital, but of course, like most people, they want simple and fast, right? However, what you and I know is you have to prepare for a capital raise. Now, for someone to push back and say, oh no, I don't want to get prepared for a capital raise, then what that would mean is, well, great, just call your banker, tell them you want the money wired over and that you're ready to get started with your funding. Well, of course, the feedback could be, I tried that, or I don't know how to do that, or I'm not ready. Well, that's exactly why we need to go spend 28 days together to get prepared for your capital raise. If you were already prepared, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You'd be over at the bank, giving them your account number and your routing number, and they'd be preparing to wire the money over, right? That's not the position that most small businesses are in. This is an incredible time. We're seeing increasingly that there's such a recognition of this need to train entrepreneurs. You can't just say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and have suddenly all the skills and knowledge and preparation. There's a process to it. And that's what you and I are offering through the 4-week curriculum. And again, you can review those details here on this page. All right, so Barry says he's all set. Robert says formula finally simplified. I agree, it's overdue, but we learn through our successes and failures. Monique has a little bit of a different video she's using, and Monique, you're a great closer, so that's okay. If you all want to use a different method to orient and train and move prospects from cold to warm, then that's okay. What we've been asked by many of you, what are some best practices? What are others doing that's working really well? Well, first of all, we need plenty of leads, and we've covered that ad nauseum. So we've got an unlimited number of free leads. So we've resolved that. And then now we've determined what do we do with those leads to move them from cold to warm. And so Travis, that's fine. Travis has a question. What if it's an existing business? It's the same process. We have to get prepared for the capital raise. And so whether you're talking to someone that's pre-launch startup or an existing business, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take them through this 4-week curriculum that serves two purposes, Travis. We're going to educate them, but also what we're going to do is implement. We're going to assign a financial literacy educator. And again, this is part of the new streamlined, improved model. Every client coming in now is assigned an advisor that's going to mentor them. One person. So they're not talking to support. They're not talking to the referral source. They're not juggling a bunch of people. They can't say, I don't know who to talk to, or no one's responding to me. None of that can happen anymore. We assign an advisor that's going to work with them, a financial literacy educator specifically, that's assigned to them, that's going to have a scheduled call with them. And these are all scheduled up front. So we can't say, oh, they never scheduled. No. All 4 are scheduled on day 1, or should be scheduled on day 1. So week 1, we're talking to them about the first topic. Week 2, we're working with them on the personal financial statement and so forth. So this is working really, really well. We were asked yesterday to put together a proposal for a $176,000 grant project to do this on a large scale. So, I mean, we're spot on, and I apologize. It took us a little while to figure out how to tweak all the variables, but we are spot on now. There's no better time to get engaged, and you can generate significant income from this by just getting engaged. And you can be involved minimally. You can just be an affiliate and be a referral source and just feed people in. We'll give you a landing page and just dump people in here. We'll take it from there. You're paid on average $1,000. You might want to be more involved and actually be one of those financial literacy educators that's working with the clients through that 4-week process. You do more, you earn more. That's great. Maybe you want to be on the leadership team. You want to run a branch office or joint venture. Now we do a 50-50 revenue split with you. So you're making a lot more money. You're obviously more involved. It doesn't matter to us which role you want to be in. You just need to figure out, do you want to earn extra income? And do you want to help entrepreneurs increase their financial literacy and increase access to capital? And if so, I don't think you're going to find a better vehicle. So Travis, sorry, that was a long soapbox answer. It's the same. Feed them into your landing page. If you don't have a landing page, get a conversion, and then we'll get you a landing page for free. If you need to send someone in before you have a landing page, just go to the IIMFL website, small business certification, inquiry form down here at the bottom. Super simple. All right, Joseph asked a question, and I planned on talking about it Monday, so reluctantly I'll bring it up now, and then we're going to talk more about it Monday. Joseph asked, he's saying that about 90% of his clients are giving them grief about any advance fees. They just don't want to pay anything in advance, even though this is a great value proposition. It is $396, or they can pay $99 a week. But Joseph's point is some people just don't want to pay anything up front. And you're right, Joseph. And early next week, hopefully Monday, we're going to be able to give you an extra arrow in your quiver that if you wanted to offer them a variation of this with no upfront fees, it'll be available. So I'm going to table your question, your concern, but I'm with you. And as of hopefully Monday, no later than Tuesday, we'll have an answer to that. So individuals that do not want to have any out-of-pocket cost up front, that we can support them. So your great minds think a lot, Joseph, and we'll be addressing that early next week. And Monique says just the opposite. You know, she's not having any trouble about the fees because the benefits are laid out. And you're both right. You're both right, even though you're giving me very opposite perspectives. And so we want to equip each of you to have the ability. So we're not changing anything that we have. Don't worry about that. We're done changing. But if you want to take out the Capital Ready Program 2.0 to the marketplace, or the SBC, it's just as it is. But to address Joseph's concern, we will have a variation. Now, to further validate Joseph's point, Monique, we're frequently talking to prospective affinity partners, churches, chambers, co-working spaces, and other types of key influencers. And you would almost laugh if you sat here in my office when I'm having these conversations, because some of them will say, well, if my members or my congregation or whatever their sphere of influence doesn't have some upfront cost, that's bad because they don't have any skin in the game. We have to have them pay something up front. And then others will say, no, I don't want my people to have to pay anything up front. I don't want any advance fees. So even, with chamber, church leaders and others, they're polarized one way or the other, just like the exchange we've had so far. So what we're going to do is just prepare you to be able to have options both ways. So we're going to keep everything as it is. Nothing's changing. But early next week, we'll have an option that if you wanted to make it available where they didn't have an advance fee. But more details about that forthcoming. Now, Annette brings up a different point, and it's a valid one. And we have to dig a little bit deeper. So what Annette is saying is that some of her clients, and frankly, let's go back to the landing page for a second. And when we talk about the 27 mistakes, if you go through and listen to this, what are you going to take away from it? Great practical information. It's not a sales pitch at all. But what you'll take away from it is what? You have to become credible if you want to have a capital raise. Now, different capital raises look for different types of credibility, but we teach kind of the basics in the 27 mistake video. And again, you can just go to 27mistakes.org as a shortcut to get to it. What's an example? You need a business bank account. You need a business bank account. If you're going to run a business, you need a business bank account. Do all sources of capital require that? Technically, no. But should you, could you, really must you have a business bank account if you have a business? Yes. I don't think anyone would argue that. Well, some people will come to us and say, I don't have money to open a business bank account. I am stone cold broke, but I want to start a business. Well, we've got the answer to that, don't we, Annette? Because what we teach is that there's 3 strategies for raising capital for a business, and there's only 3. You can either do a debt-based capital raise, an equity-based capital raise, or earned income. Those are the 3. Now, earned income means that we're selling our goods or services, we're generating a profit, and we're reinvesting the profit for growth. So, and I realize that many small businesses don't generate enough profit to reach their growth potential. So I'm not ignorant of that, but I'm saying those are the 3 categories. You might say, what about grants? Grants are not normal funding sources for for-profit businesses. So we're going to set that aside. So it's debt-based, equity-based, or earned income. Those are our 3 options. We work very diligently now, maybe not always, but now, to help clients understand there's those 3. So Annette, if you have a client that comes to you and they're broke, and I'm not saying that negatively, but I'm just, harshly, they don't have any money. They don't have any money. Then we might still be able to do a debt-based capital raise or an equity-based capital raise. But what would be really smart is for you and I, Annette, to help them generate some earned income, because that's the precious thing that they need to open a bank account, to position their business to be credible, to pay their bills, to pay themselves. And so when you run into people that are broke, Annette, don't ignore the opportunity to help them with earned income. And we call that the opportunity fund. They can come into the opportunity fund and generate, we'll set a budget at $2,500, $5,000, $7,500, or $10,000 a month, and help them create earned income. So what you have to do, Annette, and you're very good at what you do, so I'm not lecturing you, but for any of you, when you have a client that's broke, then that's a problem that we need to help them solve. It's frankly not a barrier. It's not going to keep them from being successful in our program. It's not going to keep us from being able to help them with the capital raise at all, because we can cure broke, and we can cure broke in 30 days. But that third category, so we got debt-based, equity-based, the third category is earned income. What's the first word in that hyphenated phrase? Earned, right? So they're going to have to roll up their sleeves a little bit, but we'll provide them a vehicle to earn income and solve that cash flow problem. So that's my answer to your comment, Annette. You're welcome. Travis. Monique asks, so yeah, the 27 mistake video, it starts, if you've not watched, I encourage you to, it starts with introducing us and the small business certification curriculum, and then we go through the 27 mistakes, and we close out talking about the small business certification again. But it's good. It's not, I don't think it's cheesy at all. It's very educationally packed. So with that being said, it is driving people to the small business certification. If you want to alter that message and present it somehow differently, then of course you could. No one's required to use this. It's just, Monique, you have a greater aptitude for marketing than many others, and so your message might be preferable for you. Yeah, and Monique brings up a great point, and I see this with several of you. Several of you, it's easier for you to sell the Capital Ready Package 2.0 than it is the small business certification, even though it's a significantly higher entry point. Now, of course, the $2,500 for the Capital Ready program is a refundable deposit, so that helps a little bit because they know they'll get the deposit back. But I'm with you, and I see a number of you that are more proficient in bringing clients on the higher price point option than the lower, which is counterintuitive, you'd think, but whatever works, works. So I won't get in your way of that. And Joseph brings up some good points about, overcoming objections. If you've not come to our full day Friday training, I would suggest, and this is responding to Joseph's point, but the others, anyone else, I would say as little as possible. You're probably not prepared. Not saying that you're not smart enough or not motivated enough, nothing like that, but you're probably just you don't have enough in-depth knowledge of how all this works to try to explain it. So probably you end up saying things that doesn't resonate well with the client. So if you've not come to our training, Friday trainings, not doing it today, but we're resuming next week, then I think you just need to steer them towards the tools and zip the lips, say as little as possible to direct them in the right spot. So Joseph, get them to your landing page, have them watch this, and either they can put their information here or you can drop it in. So I think that can happen, that if you don't have the confidence, the competence, the proficiency, the depth of understanding, or maybe it's just not your thing to be explaining it, and you're not able to explain it adequately, use the tools rather than taking that burden on yourself, and then feed them in. Right. Yeah, we are not changing anything from the small business certification or from the Capital Ready Package 2.0. So nothing's changing in that. All that I mentioned is that some of you and some of our large referral partners are looking for a no upfront cost option. So that's not going to change anything that we're doing. It's just going to be a variation where they're able to defer what normally would be paid up front, but they wouldn't even know that if you didn't bring it up to them. So yeah, no worries there. All right, it's 8:30. Hopefully what we covered today is, along with other discussion, how to move a cold lead and make them warm. We've already covered how to get nearly an infinite and unlimited number, of free leads right here. Now we've talked about how to move them from cold to warm. So thanks everyone. We'll see you back Monday morning. Have a great day. Bye-bye.